How are you, good people? Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Collo. I'm an actor, director, scriptwriter, and here we're crazy about literature, we are crazy about music videos, and above all, we are crazy about movies. So today we are going to do a movie review of Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. So if you are a fan of movies, this is the place for you. Stick around as we do this movie review, and remember, if you have not subscribed, please press the subscription button below and also press the notifications button so each time we drop a video, you shall be the first to be informed. Let's do this movie review. So, let's talk about the movie, The Gentleman. The Gentleman is a movie which is written and directed by Guy Ritchie and starring Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell Hugh, Henry Golding, among other names. So, what is the plot of this movie? This movie is the story of a gangster who's called Mark Pearson. So, it starts as we get to hear the story of Mark Pearson, where he was brought up, he was bright, how he got a chance to go and study at Oxford University, but dropped it because he started dealing drugs, and to be specific, dealing in marijuana or Mary Jane. So when the movie is starting, the opening scene of the movie, we see Mark Pearson, now the gangster, comes and sits down and orders a glass of beer and a boiled egg. And before he starts eating it, we see another guy enters and comes, and there's a shot. We see blood all over the beer. So we are not sure if it is Mark Pearson who has been shot or what has happened. So that is the introduction into the movie. Now, after that brief introduction, you're left wondering what is happening. So that is when the story starts. The next scene is a scene by his bodyguard, which is played by Charlie Hunnam. Now, Charlie Hunnam is confronted with a reporter who's played by Hugh Grant. Now, Hugh Grant has been doing research. He has been investigating Mark Pearson, the protagonist from the viewer's eyes, the protagonist in the whole story. Now, so Hugh Grant comes with this investigation that he has on Mark Pearson, now the gangster. So the beginning scene, we get to hear the story from Hugh Grant's point of view. Hugh Grant is now the reporter, so we understand the story through the eyes of Hugh Grant. Now, before we go any further, allow me to say that this is one of the best storytelling techniques I've seen in recent times in movies, because Hugh Grant comes up with a proposal that Charlie Hunnam and his boss, who's Mark Pearson, should pay him 20 million. Now, we get to understand why he is asking for the 20 million. And we get to understand why he's asking for the 20 million through him telling Charlie Hunnam a story, or roughly the story in his mind concerning Mark Pissing. Now, the goodness or the sweetness in this technique is we see Charlie Hunnam's point of view, and also we see Hugh Grant's point of view, so that in 1 second you get the story going in Hugh Grant's plot in his head. Then it reaches a point, then we do something like a rewind, and then you see the storyline according to Charlie Hunnam, which is a very, very good technique. It has brought out the story in a very enticing, a very thrilling way, which captures you from the word go. So you want to know more about this story that Hugh Grant is talking about. So, through the story, we get to understand that Mark Pissing is a drug lord who wants to retire from the business. So what is he doing? He's planning to sell his marijuana business. So what he does, he's trying to get buyers who will come in and offer him good prices for his business as he chooses to go out. That is roughly the whole idea. Now, Hugh Grant is trying to explain to Charlie Hunnam why he should be paid this 20 million pounds, because he believes that he has the whole plot, he has the whole idea of Mark Pissing's business, or the whole idea of Mark Pissing's strategies in terms of the marijuana business. So the whole movie is a story in Hugh Grant's point of view, so as to understand why he should be paid the 20 million pounds. Now, the good thing about this movie is, as the movie continues to evolve, we get different points of view. First, we get the all-seeing eye, that is the third person, the third person view when watching the movie, and then it reaches a time when we're in the first person persona while understanding the movie. So the playing around with the first person, the third person, the second person persona in developing the movie brought out a very good directorial aspect in the creation of this movie. From the word go, we see that Guy Ritchie tried to make this movie as British as possible, because you can see the way Colin Farrell is talking. He's talking like a Briton. Everyone is trying to talk like a Briton. So the idea is, you believe that Mark Pissing is a gangster in London. So they really brought out that London aspect from the way they spoke. So kudos goes to the language coaches. They really did a good job, especially with Colin Farrell part. It really came out. It was really awesome. Even Charlie Hunnam did it wonderfully, and you believe you are watching a British or Britons performing. The characterization of this movie was really amazing, because you saw Matthew McConaughey for the gangster that he really was, and you believe that he was the gangster, the ruthless, conniving, and well-mannered gangster. He really brought out the character. Also, you can see Henry Golding really did an amazing job in bringing out his character. If you compare the character that Henry Golding plays in this movie and the character that he played in Crazy Rich Asians, they are totally different. So the characterization was really amazing in this movie. Also, Charlie Hunnam, he really did a good job as the bodyguard. Also, if you look at how Hugh Grant played his role as an investigative journalist, he really brought the character. So the character was really on point. So all the characters in this movie really did a stellar performance in bringing out what Guy Ritchie really wanted to deliver in this kind of movie. As I said earlier, the storytelling technique in this movie is really amazing. It captivates you. And another aspect that really came out is how Guy Ritchie developed his scenes. For example, there's that scene where Henry Golding is about to rape Mark Pissing's wife, and you could feel the pressure, you could feel the tempo rising as Matthew McConaughey was trying to come and save his wife. Then before he reaches, there's an accident which derails his plans to save his wife. But the most important part is where we see now the wife has tried to defend herself and killed two bodyguards. Now her gun is out of bullets, and there is Henry Golding, and now Henry Golding is about to rape her. Now you can feel the tension, you can feel the suspense as you're asking yourself, will Mark Pearson reach on time? Will he be able to save his wife? That was really good scene development on Guy Ritchie's end. Also, there's that scene where Colin Farrell is introduced the first time as the coach, and you can see the way he handles the boys around, how the boys are trying to attack him, and he's training them, he's giving them lessons. It was really good scene development. And then another scene that really stood out for me was that toddler's bush, where Colin Farrell guys come and steal the marijuana, and now as they are creating the videos, and now you can see the pain, the anger when Mark Pearson sees this video online. And this video really came out. It really brought out the British aspect, or the Britain arts aspect, that Guy Ritchie really wanted to develop in this movie. So it was a really amazing work on Guy Ritchie's part. Also, the cast did not disappoint as they played their roles perfectly. If you look at the movie, the storyline is a modern mafia, like a modern Al Capone, or the same as you can say a modern Don Corleone. You know, it's a modern Godfather. And the way Guy Ritchie brought out Mark Pearson's character, and the way he developed the character from the word go, you can see that he really did a good research on creating this character, and also on developing the character on screen and off screen. So Mark Pearson stands out from the word go. Even if he's playing a bad role to some extent, you find yourself just loving his character. You find yourself just getting attached to Mark Pearson as a character, which really makes the movie stands out from the rest. If we are to talk about my personal highlights in this movie, my first highlight was how he played around with the idea of a Hugh Grant storytelling prowess in developing of this script. That was a really big highlight for me in this movie. Now, another highlight that really stood out for me in this movie is how Colin Farrell, that scene where we have Colin Farrell and the boys at the cafe, that scene really stood out because we saw the experience in Colin Farrell, the way he handled that scene, the way he handled the boys. I mean, that scene really stood out. Another scene that really stood out, and I had said earlier, is when Mark Pearson is rushing to save his wife. That scene really stood out for me because it gave you the tension, it gave you the suspense that I believe Guy Ritchie wanted you to have when experiencing that scene. It really stood out as an amazing piece of acting. Also, the toddler's bush, I repeat it, that scene, they really knew how to play with the modern culture in terms of music, in terms of the kind of songs that are coming from Britain, in terms of rap, and how they infuse it with the acting, and how they infuse it with the gang. It really stood out. It was amazing. Now, the best part, personally, in this whole movie, it's that final part. When you see this guy is very sure that his moves are wonderful. He's sure that he has lowered Mark Pearson's business from 400 million pounds up to 130 million pounds. And the way Mark Pearson flips the cards on him and gives him an ultimatum, a 1-hour ultimatum, it was really amazing. You should, if you have not watch because of that part gives that satisfaction. You really enjoy, like, now I get what I really wanted from the start. If I'm to talk about the demerits of the movie, there are very few from my point of view. The first demerit, personally, I believe, is the story develops in a rather slow manner. It will take time before you really understand what is happening. So personally, I feel that is a demerit on my part, because personally I want storyline that you get them like oh, now the story is going this way. Yeah, but When it takes too long for the story to develop or the story to gain momentum, it kind of loses the sweetness. I know a lot of people will leave the movie midway, not knowing how sweet the movie is. So for me, that is a very big demerit. Other than the story having a slow start or a slow pace in understanding the storyline, the movie is a really amazing movie. I love the way Guy Ritchie has played with his cast, that is Henry Golding, Charlie Hunnam, Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Grant, and all the others. I mean, it has been an amazing piece of directing. It has been also an amazing piece of acting from the stellar cast. So the movie is worth a watch. If you have not watched it, please go and watch Guy Ritchie's Gentleman. Also, it's amazing how Guy Ritchie introduces himself. The very first scene when Mark Piston comes into the bar and he orders his beer. When that guy is pouring him beer, you can see the Ritchie part. And if you're keen, you'll understand the G stands for Guy and then Ritchie, which forms the Ritchie Law beer, which is a really amazing trademark in inducing in a movie as a director, as a scriptwriter, and also as a producer. It really intrigued me, and it was a nice way of introducing yourself or putting your fingerprint or your watermark in your own movie. Let's rate the movie. The movie for me personally will stand at 7.5 over 10. Why 7.5? Because it's not an action movie as per se. It's a drama movie, and which lived up to the drama. It lived up to the suspense. Also, the action part was really amazing. So the movie, I'll give it a 7.5 over 10, which is a really amazing mark. And I'll advise anyone who has not watched this movie, The Gentleman, go and watch the movie. The characters lived up to the title of The Gentleman. Be it they're the good guys or the bad guys, they really lived up to the character. Understand why he called the movie The Gentleman, see the way they carry themselves, and understand the theme The Gentleman. All in all, my name is Collo. I've been your host, and I'm really grateful, I'm really thankful that you stayed with me to the end of this video. Remember, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please press the subscription button. Also, share with your friends. Also, press the notification button that each time we drop a video, you shall be the first to be informed. Now with this coronavirus, please stay at home, wash your hands, maintain social distance, avoid gatherings, and above all, pray and maintain peace. Thank you. Till next time. Adios, amigos.